Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Wallsend history story. Well, obviously, as you know, when I'm doing these ones where I'm driving around, they're not really a history story, they're just a little bit of a guided tour around some of the local areas. So today I am going around some parts of Willington Quay. I'm also going to go along to Point Pleasant and things like that, so I hope you'll enjoy it and find it interesting. Now again, I'm using the actual phone's microphone, so I know that sometimes it's a bit better if I'm a bit closer to it, but I find it a little bit difficult to lean forward so that I'm close to the microphone when we're moving along, because it's a bit difficult. And of course, obviously, for anybody wondering, no, it's definitely not me driving. So this is where Howdon railway station used to be, so of course it's now Howdon metro station. So coming down here on the right hand side, you would have once upon a time been able to have seen the old gas tanks, but of course they've long gone. And on that side is Howdon Park. It's still used, but there's not a massive amount of things in Howdon Park. There is a bowling green, and I think there's a skate park as well, but like I say, it's not massively used because it's not like some of the other parks. There's not a lot as much in it. So we're coming down now towards Willington Quay. We're also coming down towards where the church used to be on the corner down here, which is of course a church whose name, while I'm here, I've completely forgotten, which is great because I'm really good for that. But anyway, so you've got the care home on that side, which is where I think it's Addison Potter School used to be there. And on that side used to be a church, which of course is not there anymore. So we're basically going to go round and through into what's left of this area, because obviously a lot of the houses and things down here were demolished when the Tyne Tunnel was built. So a lot of the houses, especially the ones that you can see in front of you and things like that, they are all new now, they're not the old ones. So we're going along this way, which is basically where a lot of one side of the street is old and the other side of the street is new. So on that side of the street, obviously they're all relatively new, and on that side where you can see Byron Avenue, that is all older original properties. And I'm just actually having a look at them. Yeah, they are definitely the full-on original properties, because I always check looking at brickwork, because you can tell by the bricks as to how old a property is. So they're all the old properties, and you're just coming up in a minute to the Willington Quay Social Club, or sometimes known by a lot of people as the Morgue, and they're all old original properties. And that basically is pretty much all that's left of the old Willington Quay. There is little to nothing else left of it. I mean, you've got a couple of pubs that are left, because obviously you have got the Albion, which, as most of you know, is currently empty. There's nothing going on with it, and you should actually be able to see it coming up in a minute, because the sign is on the side of the building there, so you should just be able to see it above those buildings there. And of course, if you were to go down that little road there, which we're not going to, you would come to the Verne, or as was the Ship, which was the only two really that are left now, because obviously the bogey chain's gone, and there's the rest of them were all demolished years ago, such as the Alma, etc. So this is obviously the Marina on that side, and you can see lots of work going on there in the Smulders yard. And then obviously on that side we have Willington Mill, and the tide's in at the moment, and somebody's in a hurry. And we've also got in front of you the Seven Arches, and there's a metro actually just going across that at the moment, but you probably can't see that for the trees. So we're coming around this way. You're going to come round to Point Pleasant, which I'm not going to go into Point Pleasant, but you're coming round to it. So this is basically where Point Pleasant is, so you can see it there, and that's it. That's all you're going to get to see, basically. So we're going to come along here, and we're going to get as far into Wallsend as back to where Church Pit would be. There's the fire station for anybody who's interested. Wallsend Community Fire Station. So in front of you, you can see some buildings, storage buildings, and they are Now I know I've talked about that before, so I'm not going to go into a massive amount of detail about that, but that is where Church Pit used to be. You can't, from where we are in the car, you can't see the remains of the pit shafts, because obviously I'd have to get out and go in to see those. So we're coming round now. Down there somewhere is where the Davy Inn used to be, which of course is no longer there. So coming up here, and what we're going to do is we're going to kind of come up here and we're going to go back around and down Church Bank, and I'm going to go down on to where Haggis used to be, and then I'm going to go round to where St Aidan's Church used to be. So coming round here, obviously you can see the sign for the Burnside School in front of you. So coming round onto the High Street, I've done the High Street going the other way, so obviously there's the Winning, which is obviously, as I said before, it's now flats, apartments, whatever you want to call it, and obviously there's St Peter's Church with the flag flying. It's blowing in the wind. It's not massively windy today, but it's going to be quite windy tomorrow, so I thought I'd do the videos today before it gets too windy. So like I say, coming down Church Bank, so you can see the houses on the side, which I've mentioned when we came up Church Bank in another video, that are relatively new, but also where other houses once used to stand. And as you get a little bit further down the bank, you will be able to see the Rose Inn in the distance. So we're going to go down this little street. Well, I don't know why I'm pointing, but I'm actually pointing. Nobody can see us pointing unless I do that, and then you say, there you go, I'm pointing. So we're actually going to go down this little street, which is down this little road, which is where Haggis used to be. Now what you're seeing on the right hand side there, that is where the rope walk used to be. So as you can see, there's absolutely nothing there now. It's all just trees. Now this was all totally changed sometime, I think, in the early 90s, because I know that my ex-husband came down here and took some photos in around about 1995, and it was all relatively new then, and there used to be little seats that you could sit and look at the water, which probably smelt as bad then as it does now. So in front of you again is the Seven Arches again, which is, it really is enormous when you get close to it. You don't realise how big those arches are, but it's absolutely massive. I can also see, which you probably can't see on this video, I can also see a massive amount of seagulls flying in the distance, and they're probably actually, although you wouldn't think it, they are probably actually flying around for the tip. So that's where the bogey chain used to be, or the railway inn. And obviously this is where a lot of these streets used to be. Some of them were damaged during the war by a bomb, and obviously there's nothing really there now, just trees. And these are all newer houses here. So in the distance again, oh gosh, it's round the O'Brien's, where I can see, oh gosh, there's hundreds of them. It's a bit like a Hitchcock film. There's that many. There really is hundreds and hundreds. And there's the Albion Inn in the distance there. So this is where St Aidan's Church used to be, and obviously that's long gone. It's now all houses and apartments. So that is where the church used to be. It doesn't have the same look, but it's high up on the bank where the church used to be. So we're just going to carry on and go up to the top of this street. Name of this street I have forgotten. I have said before that I am absolutely rubbish with street names, and I really am. I don't know, it's just something unreal. But yeah, Rose Hill Road, that's what this is. So on the left hand side there used to be some 2-story, 3-story flats. I'm not sure now, it's been such a long time since I've seen them, but they've all been recently demolished, but you can't see them at the moment. We're just going to go under this little bridge, and when we go under this little bridge I'll be able to swing the camera around a little bit to where some of them used to be that aren't there anymore. So it's a little bit further up before you can actually see them. So these roads now are a lot, again, new houses, a lot of the old houses, because my grandma was born round this area and the street where she lived is pretty much completely gone. There's only a tiny little bit, so there was some down there. No, that's not the bit where I wanted to look, honestly. I saw a little gap and thought that was the one I wanted to look down, but it's not. Just some garages on the left hand side, so it's where the garages are further down on the bank used to be one of the blocks of flats. Well, they were demolished quite some time ago, and that actually hasn't been anything put in its place, so they used to be down there. So anybody who does remember them will know that you used to be able to see them there quite easily, and now you can't. So coming to the top of Rosehill Road, now that I know what it is, and there's actually an awful lot of seagulls flying around here as well, so I don't know why. I'm kind of wondering if I am in a Hitchcock film. So that's it, that's going to be it for this one. So I do hope that you have enjoyed this little tour around parts of Willington Quay, and I am now going to go off and do another one from a different area. So I do thank you all very much for watching, and I do hope to see you all again very soon.